I'm here. It is Friday morning. It is 8:30, and you are looking live at the headquarters of the Kima Real Estate Group, at least during coronavirus, right? We are here at my home office. So take a quick look. There's my buddy, all hunkered down, ready to go. You can see he's super excited about Coffee Talk. Yeah, so listen, I raised my cup to you. It's good to see you this morning. My cup is full of Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I hope you're enjoying whatever it is you're having to get your day started this morning. It looks like we're kind of like a half moon this morning with that bright sun coming in. We're supposed to get rain for my new sod, and I haven't seen the rain come in much just yet. I know Fuquay got hit a couple days ago, but we haven't gotten hit yet. Certainly wouldn't mind a little 30-minute shower in the morning, sun all day, 30-minute shower in the evening, sun all, and then a clear sky at night. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Otherwise, those sprinklers will be going, and I certainly love the sound of those. So, good morning to you. I hope you guys are enjoying a great week and preparing for, some people call it the weekend. I just call it a day because right now they all just continue to seem to run together. There is a little sense of normalcy coming back for some people, right? Starting to see some people playing baseball on weekends, seeing some people, well, everybody's always been at Home Depot and Lowe's. That hasn't changed at all, right? So, but you start to see a little bit of a sense of normalcy, and that's one of my questions for you this week is, are we ready? And not to make it political, again, you know my rule about that, but are you ready about kind of a sense of normalcy? Are you just busting at the seams? Are you wearing masks in stores? All those kind of things. I'm really curious. I get the sense that we are now on a slippery slope towards reopening really, really quickly. People are super excited. Restaurants are full. But I do think that there's, three different versions of people right now, right? There's those people that are wide open, living like coronavirus never existed. There's those people that are somewhere in the middle, taking some precautions, wearing masks in stores, still social distancing a little bit, maybe not shaking hands when they see people. And then there's those people that are just full lockdown, not seeing the light of day. They might not even know it's sunny today. So curious, where do you fall into that? And just kind of where are you? I will tell you, due to the coronavirus, I feel like, and for those of you that may remember this, there was a great commercial years ago, and we still reference it here in our house. If we find somebody who's been on Instagram for an hour or two or what have you, we'll often say, you've reached the end of the internet. And it almost feels that way some ways, right? You look at Netflix, or you look at Hulu, or any of these other streaming apps where you can go ahead and watch movies and shows, what have you. And it almost feels like we've reached the end of the internet. Like we're ready to have some live human interaction again. I'd like to see it done in a safe way. But yeah, I kind of feel like we've kind of reached the end of what we can do at our houses by ourselves right now. I will tell you, so quick update. We've had a lot of you ask about these things. A lot of people gave good advice. We are not here to disparage a company, but we are no longer going to be banking with Bank of America. As many of you know, we had a bank card stolen. We immediately shut that down. I will give credit to Bank of America. They caught the fraud and reversed it immediately. And kudos to them for doing that. So it's not all bad. However, the new card has been hacked. And so serious concerns about our safety and our privacy with Bank of America. We are going to be shifting our personal banking over there. And because we are now working from home, we're no longer in an office. When you hear barking like that, it's just kind of part of being organic and live, right? And so Ozzy protecting the house from his bed here. So there's your update. We are going to be switching banks. If you have we're talking about personal finances. We already went down this road during the PPP project or loan process rather for our business banking. But I'm curious to know from a personal banking perspective, where do you do your personal banking? And more importantly, why? We started with Bank of America many, many years ago just because of the access it gave us around the globe. Although the world has changed an awful lot since the early 2000s, right? So, right now inventory in the real estate market is really, really low. We're going to talk about that in a second when we get to the real estate portion of this conversation. Let me ask it this way. Would you sell your home if you get the price you're looking for right now? If that's a conversation you want to have, call us, because the inventory right now is causing a lot of differences, a lot of changes in the market, right? We're seeing rising prices. We're seeing, and I'm going to give you a great example, stay tuned for this. But with the market shifting the way it is, and meaning rising prices and lowering of inventory, there isn't going to be a better time to sell. Now, that being said, if you're a buyer, there's a flip side of that. If you're building or what have you, great, let's go work new construction together. But if you're looking to sell, let's talk about what that might look like in today's market, because there's not going to be a better time to do that. I listed over here in the description that we are going to talk a little bit about CBD. I wanted to share with you just a quick, funny little story. So my son Camden and I, my 12-year-old and I, were watching a show on ESPN called 30 for 30. It happened to be on Lance Armstrong, right? And a lot of controversial things that revolved around Lance Armstrong. The great Tour de France bicyclist. He won so many of those, won several in a row. And later was finally admitted that he mistreated people and he was doping and calling other people liars when indeed he was the one lying. And certainly could be prosecuted and persecuted for all those kind of things, no doubt about it. The other part of his story is that he came back after beating a very aggressive form of cancer and came back and won the Tour de France. Yes, he doped to win it. I get that. Those titles should be stripped. But you know what came out of that? That foundation, the Lance Armstrong Foundation, which did an awful lot of good things for an awful lot of young people and adults too, but people that were battling cancer. And so it's one of those conundrums, right? Do you penalize him for not following the rules, or do you pat him on the back for all the great stuff that he did do? I found him to be a little off-putting during the show. I found him to be a little bit arrogant, maybe not a little bit, maybe a lot arrogant. But beyond that, the impact that he's had on people and what he did for young kids can't be overlooked, because those are real things, right? Those are real things. So anyhow, we watched that. And where I'm going with this is, the guy who outed him and outed everybody was a former teammate of his named Floyd Landis. For those of you that might remember the story, Floyd Landis was a very good bicyclist himself, and he outed everybody. What was interesting to me, as many of you know, we've mentioned it on here before, we're big fans of Floyds of Leadville CBD products, right? And we use Floyds of Leadville in our house, and it dawned on me, Floyds of Leadville, a lot of bicycling, and then we're watching the show, and he started talking about Floyd Landis had moved to Leadville, and I thought, Floyds of Leadville, is this and sure enough, it is. It's the Floyd. While he grew up in the Amish country of Pennsylvania in Lancaster County, he lives in Leadville now, although he's just opened up a cafe in Lancaster County. But I thought what a small world. I want to give a second recommendation for those of you that, for whatever reason, may not be interested in Floyds of Leadville and their products. I've got a great friend of mine, a fraternity brother of mine, who has put together a company, he and his wife and some friends, called TWINE, TWINE CBD. Cannot say enough good things about them as people. It's a 100% woman-owned business. They are people that give back and make a difference. I certainly would recommend looking at TWINE online as well today if you're looking to add CBD to your life. So I digress. There's the end of the commercial. I did not get paid for that, just so you know. I want to share some good news. I'm looking out my window right now. We are 1 week into having our sod installed. And for those of you that know, sod is not something that's inexpensive, but it is very temperamental. And we are 1 week in, and it's as green as the day they laid it down. I understand that you're supposed to get roots, the beginning roots, in 2 weeks, so we've got another week to hopefully for it to start taking root. And then in 6 weeks, apparently, it's supposed to be fully rooted. So keep your fingers crossed. We're doing all we can. We're singing to it. We're out there walking it. You name it, we're taking the best care that we can of this sod. It's become our third child, or if you include Ozzy, our fourth child. Let's see, what else I want to tell you? The other projects, so we've had contractors here at our house, and they're not contractors, these guys are friends, right? For those of you that know Mark Costanza and his team, he and Luke and their team, super good friends of ours, good quality general contractors. They build everything from luxury homes down to doing your punch list items for home inspection reports. And I can't say enough good things about those guys. They're as trustworthy as they come. They're a lot of fun. But they've had their crews out here for the last, about a week and a half now. We've put on a new deck. Our deck was built in 1986. It had gotten to the point where I couldn't cover the holes up with enough buckets and furniture any longer that it just became time that we had to replace it. And yes, we wear things out. We, at the same time, went ahead and decided to put on some new side steps and some other small things around the house. But it looks like they're going to finish everything up today. While we'll miss seeing those guys here, we won't miss Ozzy barking all day long at those guys, letting them know that, hey, you're trespassing on the property. Again, if you need those names and numbers of those guys, we're certainly glad to put you in touch with them. I can't say enough good things about them. You know that every Friday for the last 5 Fridays, we fed the firemen of Wake Forest, right? We picked a fire station. They have 5 fire stations in Wake Forest, and we chose to bring them lunch every Friday for 5 Fridays. We worked hand in hand with Chief Early, who, by the way, is an incredible fire chief and a good leader. Because right now the fire stations aren't allowing you to bring gifts. They're not allowing you to show up at the station unless there's an emergency, but no longer just dropping in to say hello and those kind of things right now. The guys could not have been more grateful, more gracious, and more fun. We had such a blast every week meeting new firemen, getting our picture taken with them. My 12-year-old would come with us. He was Camden was our photographer, but we had a great time. And, I got a nice little thank you from Coach Early, but the truth is, and the reality of it is, and I know many of you feel the same way, the thank you is really to them, right? When a friend of mine got into an accident a week ago, first people on site were the firemen. And so I encourage you to wave at them when they drive by, honk your horn when you drive by their stations. Let them know in one way or another how much we appreciate the fact that they are part of our first response teams, whether it be EMT or police, and they all certainly deserve a pat on the back. We chose to work with the firemen. So I raise my Kima cup to all the firemen, not only here in Wake Forest, but around the globe, for all that you do and all the courage that you show every single week. I want to give a plug. So we have not had the best experience in the past with one part of our business world, and that would be our accounting services. I'm not here to talk about who we worked with in the past, but I am here to tell you that if you're in the greater Wake Forest, North Raleigh area, and you're looking for an accountant that truly cares, that responds really, really quickly, you've got to go see Mitchell and Nemitz in Wake Forest. We can't say enough good things about them. I've been so impressed. We moved everything over to them late last year, and honest to goodness, they're the epitome of professional while still caring about you as a person. So Mitchell and Nemitz, another little shout out today. These are all my shout outs, by the way. We mentioned shout outs. So one shout out to Mitchell and Nemitz. Another shout out to the guys at Cedar Creek Landscaping. If you need landscaping supplies at your house, prices are great. Service is even better. Call the guys at Cedar Creek Landscaping. And then finally, this one's really close to my heart. This is a shout out to all the coaches, all the baseball, basketball, all the coaches that are out there finding new and unique ways to spend time with our kids, to make an impact on them, to continue to show them, listen, when you're a coach, you take, I don't want to use the word fatherly or motherly, but you take on a role of an adult leader to these kids, especially the younger the kids are. They really look up to some of these coaches, and it's really vitally important. And I watch closely when I see my kids with coaches about the type of coach that I want my kids to be around. What are the things they are teaching? Not only are they teaching the game correctly, are they teaching the other things that you learn through the game correctly? I raise my cup to all of you coaches that are doing 2 and 3 times the amount of baseball practices because you're doing them in smaller groups. I raise my cup to all you basketball coaches that are out on the hard courts outside right now doing small group workouts. I especially raise my cup to our 2 coaches, Frank Husking and Montez Bonner. Montez is a frontline worker, works every single day on the front lines, had to ship off his young 12-year-old son to Virginia to his mother's house in order to protect him, while he and his wife, Dominique, are both on the front lines working to help us during this coronavirus. Through all of that, he continued to run the team even though his son isn't here. He's continued to run the team and make the decisions that are best for those kids. And I'm grateful for both Frank and Montez, and I raise my cup to them. And then the last shout out in that same category is yesterday Camden started hitting baseballs again. He hit it with he was hitting baseballs with his new hitting coach, a guy by the name of Jason Boozer, who's also a teacher. You can tell he has the heart of a teacher by the way he handles Camden, and I couldn't be more grateful for guys like Coach Boozer and Coach Montez and Coach Frank and all these guys. What an impact the people that you meet through your youth athletics have on you and your family. And to all of you, I say thank you. So let's talk a little bit about 2 things. Let's talk a little bit about real estate, but I also want to talk about just being nice. Lots of things happening in our world right now. Lots of things happening. And, there's lots of people using their platforms for good reason. Lots of really good changes happening in our world right now. Again, at the expense of trying to stay out of the politics side of things, I'm going to just boil it down to one thing right now. This is not self or fully encompassing, but I do think this should be a part of what we should be doing right now. And that is show some grace and just be kind. Just be kind to your neighbor. Be kind to the people driving down the street. Be kind to the person who cut you off in traffic. Be kind to everybody right now. We all could use it, me included. We all could use people being kind to each other. People are making mistakes. People are doing things you may not agree with, but they're still people. So just be kind to each other. All right. Finally, let's talk a little bit about real estate. So right now, there's 5,832 homes on the market. That's the lowest I've ever recorded. I know my friend Brian Pate records daily. He showed somewhere in the 5,700 range earlier this week, 5,775, something like that. But 5,832 on this day right now for active inventory. Last year we had 7,949. So they call it 8,000. So 8,000 versus 5,800. Guys, that's a 26% decrease in inventory. 26% decrease in inventory. Our closings, not our closings, but our pendings, the houses that are under contract, however, are up, meaning there are more buyers than there were last year, but there's less houses to choose from. Supply and demand. You guys remember from economics, right? Supply and demand will determine your pricing. We are seeing elevated pricing right now. So we're up 8% in terms of houses that are under contract. We're down 26% in terms of houses that are available. Rolling inventory or rolling closings, which you know I love this number. Last year we were at 40,232 on this day. Today we're at 42,143, so we're up by 2,000 more homes closed in a rolling 12-month window. Months of inventory, this is a scary number, guys. We're down to 1.66 months of inventory. That's not good. That is not a healthy market. It is if you're looking to sell, but overall, we'd like to see that number closer to 3, 4, somewhere in that range. That keeps us moving. It's a good hot market. Some people would argue that 5 and 6 months of inventory is healthy. That's a balanced market. I want to tell you a story. Let me take a sip of my coffee. We listed a home yesterday. It's a townhome in North Raleigh, right? Listed it at $199,900. I'm not going to tell you where I think it should have been listed, but we're pushing a little bit of the top of the market. But are we? Here's why I say this. We will start showings tomorrow morning. The house is being finished today for showings tomorrow. So showings tomorrow right now. Again, we just went live late yesterday afternoon. We already have 14 scheduled showings, and my phone and my email are blowing up with agents asking questions. We're anticipating 2 wonderful open houses this weekend, and probably going to take best and final on this house by Sunday night, best and final offers. Guys, 14 showings on a house in North Raleigh on a townhome. We are excited about that. I can't get into the pricing, but I will tell you that in a normal market, we are pushing the top of the market. But that's the example I have of how much the market is shifting and changing right now, right? Look at this, under 250,000. These are the total number of homes that are available right now for you to go look at under 250,000. This includes townhomes, single-family homes, trailers, you name it. If it's under $250,000 and you can live in it, here's how many are available. In Wake County, 206. In Johnston County, 214. Guys, 206 and 214. Franklin County, 80. Durham County, 128. If you just take those 4 counties alone, we only have 628 homes available for you to look at under $250,000. Think about that for a second. Total population, 1.7 million in those 4 counties. 1.7 million people, 628 homes under $250,000 available today in those 4 counties. Wake County, again, 206, has 1.1 million people and 206 homes under $250,000. Affordable living is a concern. There's no question about it. There's all sorts of talk happening between municipalities and private builders and developers on how do we overcome that. Somebody's going to have to take a haircut somewhere. Somebody's going to have to either give up fees, or the landowner's going to have to sell the land less expensive than he normally could. Builders are going to have to take a haircut. Developers are going to have to. Somebody's going to take a haircut. Otherwise, the price are going to continue to go up. I'm not telling these people to do this. What I'm telling you is that's the economics of the situation that we're in. Anyhow, so if you're looking to buy a home in that price range, what I would encourage you to do, and what our team tells our buyers to do, is to don't wait, don't sleep on it. You've got to be quick. Your schedule's got to be flexible, and you've got to be ready to write an offer. We're encouraging our teammates to bring the offers with them and go ahead and write them up on site. Don't be afraid to go ahead and get those on site. Use Jotnot or some sort of a scanner on your phone and get those offers turned in a timely manner. The last thing I'm going to share with you is this. Grove 98. Are you familiar with what Grove 98 is? Grove 98 is the most exciting development to hit Wake Forest since I've been here. I've been here since 2002. So when I got to Wake Forest, Capitol Boulevard didn't have any of those traffic lights on it, like where you turn by the Chick-fil-A. Well, Chick-fil-A wasn't even there. All that was there was a Target, and they hadn't even put in the Home Depot and all that yet. There was no hill there. It was all flat, and there were no traffic lights. You just made a right and left-hand turn right there. And then, little by little, everything got developed. Heck, there was nothing but trees between there and the Capitol Boulevard South Main Street intersection. But Grove 98 is on Highway 98, Highway Business 98, that is, or Business Highway 98. It's a 66-acre site that's being developed right now for Wegmans. Now, many of you are familiar with what Wegmans is. For those of you that aren't, it is the grand poobah of all grocery stores, right? Super excited that Wegmans is coming to Wake Forest, but more excited about what it's going to do in terms of development and driving more people, not more, but more development into this town. Not only in the residential side of things, because I know how a lot of people feel about the population right now, right? Close the door after you got here kind of a thing. And I get it. I'm not trying to start any arguments, but so many of you moved here and said, this is a wonderful town. Now close the door. I don't want to let anybody else in. We can have that argument all day, every day. But I'm talking about the development that will come for jobs, right? It's companies like Wegmans and Publix that come to town, and these larger companies that come to town that are going to drive the town to put in our tech center, which I will talk about next week. But they're putting in a brand new tech center, where we'll have more places for people to not only live, but to work, play, and just really develop an entire basis of life, right? So Wake Forest used to be a sleepy little town. It's no longer that. We're super excited about it. The extension of Ligon Mill Road is another benefit of Wegmans coming to town. Really, really pumped about that. We've got a bunch of people coming on this morning. That's right, David, be kind to your friends. So for those of you that don't know and those of you that have seen us on here, we love to pick on David Colgan relentlessly. Great lender. The best of the best. He is the best of the best. But he's also an easy punching bag. He's sharing with us that mortgage rates hit an all-time low again yesterday. Guys, that's not a super low. That is an all-time low. So right now, if you want to sell your home, we talked about how perfect it is right now to go ahead and sell your home. If you want to buy your home, the inventory is going to be your concern, but the money is not, right? Mortgage rates are sitting at a point right now where it's not free, but it's certainly approaching that, right? We've got people that are refinancing under 3% right now. David, thank you for sharing that. Good morning, Christina. Good morning, Miranda. And Miranda, I owe you a video that's coming today. Nick, good morning to you, buddy. I hope you didn't call that number I sent you yesterday. Anyhow, guys, I'm going to let you go. I hope you guys have a great week. Don't forget, the one thing I'm asking for you to do this week, or two things I'm asking you to do, is raise your cup, say hello, honk your horn, and wave at the firemen and the first responders. Tell them thank you. And then the second thing I'm going to ask you to do this week is just be kind. Just be kind, guys. I'll see you later. I will talk to you in a week.